This isn't gonna work, is it?
Yeah, no. It's... No. No.
Hello.
Hi.
We're on a box.
It's a... Oh, I can't sing that one.
What?
I was gonna say, it's a dick in my box. Okay.
Guys, whatever's in there, it's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go, go, go!
What are we here doing today?
Hello, we're back. We're back with another episode of... Focus. Get.
Real.
You were unfocused.
Aw. Wait a minute. Here. Still unfocused. Yep. There we go. Real.
Oh, good for you!
Yeah, I was watching on my computer here. We need to kind of hurry this up because there's some bad weather coming in, I read, in our area. So we need to kind of rush this up, get it done.
Some storms?
Some storms coming through. Some
Okay.
some very bad winds, I heard, was coming through. So we need to be ready for that. So let's get through this episode as fast as possible. This chair is in my way because, as you noticed, pardon our mess, we are... currently in the process of moving. Again! There's going to be another new media room in the near future.
It's gonna look awesome.
That's why we had this big box in the way. But we're here on Get Real, on I guess what will be the last Get Real in this media room, discussing the new Twisters movie. Yes, see, my hat is glorious. It says, I'd rather be watching Twister. And we're talking about the original.
The one with no S.
1996 film Twister
I was
starring...
about to say the one with one S.
Right, there was no S's
No
in that
S's
one.
on that one.
But yeah, the one starring Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. No, this is the new one. This is the standalone sequel. You debate this, and we're going to talk more about it as the episode goes on, but it is a standalone sequel to Twister. What did you think of Twisters?
So here, I'm going to be real up front.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you guys this. I have not seen the original.
Okay.
I know. Blasphemy. So sorry. Spikes into trouble I had as a kid with night terrors. Sorry. Anyways, probably could watch it now. Probably should. Beside the point.
Probably should have watched it before we did this review.
Probably. Okay. That being said, I actually enjoyed Twisters.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how it was filmed and the plot, and I mean, plot very predictable. Grant you, super, super predictable, to be honest. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. I liked it.
And it was fine. I actually did enjoy it. I did not enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Twister. Twister is still one of my all-time favorite movies. Twisters doesn't even come in the top 5. But it was a decent enough movie, and it was a decent enough sequel. Here's the issues that I have with the film.
Sequel.
Got them all written down here. First, we need to talk about the fact that it was somewhat of a carbon copy of the original film.
Because according to the internet, it's not a sequel. It's a reimagination.
It's not a reimagining because it has Dorothy. The Dorothy storm tracking system that they used in the first film. It makes an appearance in the very intro of the movie, very top of the movie.
That they paid homage to the first one with different things, but it is not a sequel.
It is a standalone sequel. Otherwise, why would they call it Twisters? Why would they just call it Twister?
It's a standalone.
But a standalone sequel.
No sequel.
See, this is the thing, though, Ms. Pengrino. Okay, look, a great example is A Star Is Born. Remember the movie that came out a couple of years ago?
With Lady Gaga?
Right, but that was like the 3rd or 4th version of that movie. They've been remaking that movie for almost 100 years. The first time they did it was in the 1930s, and they've done a bunch of different reboots of it throughout the decades. But the one thing that stayed consistent, it was a new imagining. It was a reimagining. It was a reboot of this film franchise.
Yeah.
From the 1930s to today, it's always been known as A Star Is Born, not A Stars Is Born, or Stars Are Born.
Stars Born.
Or Stars Born. Stars Are Born. They never called the movie that. It's just called A Star Is Born. So that's why this is a standalone sequel, not a reimagining. It's a soft. You know what it is? It's a soft reboot. Soft
It
reboot
is.
of the original film.
They say it's not. It is.
It's a soft reboot because it hits some of those things. Like, I thought this was going to be a carbon copy of the first film. The movie starts with beloved people dying, like it does in the first film.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, well, I'm not doing this anymore. Oh, I'm back. But they're not back.
But they're not back.
She actually uses that line. So they switch it up a little bit. The first movie, well, I guess they don't switch it up. The first movie is focused a lot on Helen Hunt.
Right.
And Bill Paxton is her ex-husband, soon-to-be ex-husband. He's left the group, then he comes back to get divorce papers signed, and then he ends up going on this adventure. Because he helped create Dorothy, the Dorothy machine, and he wants to see it in action.
Got it.
That's how they get off on their wild adventure. That's when they start chasing tornadoes, and then crazy things happen. In this film, something sort of like that, but they twisted it.
Don't tell nobody.
So that the girl gives up everything,
yeah,
because she doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. Whereas the death of someone very close to Helen Hunt in this movie, and I won't spoil that because you've never seen it.
Yeah.
That just makes her want to go even more and do the thing. So that's how that works. They switched it around. She doesn't want to do it anymore. But then, yeah, like all the things that happened in the original movie happen here. She joins up with the team. There's a competing team. The competing team think they're better than everybody else, while the team that you're focused on, they're like the go-getters. They're just trying to make a difference, you know. So there was a lot of that happening in the movie,
right.
And then again, even some of the lines were consistent with the first film, where she says, "I'm not back." She says that in the middle of the film.
She says that quite a few times.
She says it, "I'm not back." They're like, "Welcome back. I'm not back." Bill Paxton says that a bunch of times in the first film. 80,000 times.
I'm not back.
So, I guess I believe you to a certain extent that this is a soft reboot of such.
Yeah.
But I think it's still a standalone sequel.
Now, that being said, we kind of thought a way that they could have made this better.
Your point?
By making it a true sequel, in the sense of the girl, the main character of this new one, could have been Helen Hunt's daughter.
Because in the movie, spoiler alert, we actually get to meet her mother in the film, and it so totally should have been Helen Hunt's character. Joe, of course, was the first one. That should have been the reveal. Oh, this has been Joe's daughter the whole time, and they don't have their dad because Bill Paxton sadly passed away a few years ago. He passed away. It's in the interim between the two films.
Right.
So that should have been how it played out.
And they could have
not this show, but how it played out in the movie.
They could have played on that.
Not this show, but yeah.
Where, she took after her mom and her dad. Like, she wanted to help. She wanted to do the thing with the storms and all of that. And then her friends die, and she's like, no, I'm like, Dad, I gotta go. I can't do this anymore.
Right. But, I mean, that's what leads me to believe that, I guess in a way this is a soft reboot. I still look at it as a sequel because I looked at it, you could look at it as a sequel because you could say, well, they're using Dorothy at the beginning of the movie. Okay, well maybe Dorothy is just the track, maybe that they were successful in that and now that's the tracking system and they were using that for their experiment,
Yeah.
Because it does look way more professional than it does in the original film. The original film looks like, amateurs made it,
right.
and this looked actually very professional in this version of the film. So it very well could have played it out like that.
Not this show.
Not the show, but you could have played it out like that and have been like, oh, they're using that system. And then that could have been the only callback.
Yeah.
Been like, Dorothy, these scrappy scientists, they could have done this, these scrappy scientists 30 years ago. 30 years ago, they came up with this system, and now we're going to do it here with this, and we're going to try to use it in our experiment or something like that. But they didn't go that route. They just appeared. Dorothy just appears in the film.
She was just here.
But this is how you know it's a carbon copy of the movie too, because even though she's not Helen Hunt's kid, she's a blonde lady. The star of this movie is a blonde lady, and she dresses up just like Helen Hunt in the first film.
Literally. Now that I have not seen, but I have seen
I
know what Helen Hunt's supposed to look like in
dresses
Twisters.
just like her.
Because I even told them at one point she has like this leather holster thing, which to me almost looked like a gun holster. I don't even know why she was wearing it, to be honest. But
I don't remember this from the first film, so just
you don't remember it?
Just humor her. Yeah.
Tis confusion.
Go ahead. No, continue.
I mean, it almost looks like something from Tomb Raider 2. You know the piece I'm talking about,
I
right?
do, yeah.
I'm pretty sure she has something of the sort.
It's possible,
It might
but
be more of like a belt around that part, but she had some sort of leather strappies.
what stood out to me automatically, though, was that she was wearing like a white tank top, tucked into pants, and a jacket wrapped around her waist. That's exactly how Helen Hunt was dressed in the movie, in the first movie. And so that was kind of my problem with it, is that everything just seemed kind of like same-ish from the first film, because you also had, we're gonna go chase these tornadoes, and it can't go right. Something crazy has to go happen, because let me tell you, when storm chasers actually go chase tornadoes, everything goes right. It doesn't. There's very rarely a screw up in any case.
I wouldn't say it always goes right, but I wouldn't say the screw-ups are as bad as what the movies are making.
Yeah. And then they're screwed up. And then, of course, they have in the middle of the film the giant. There's a lot of people around, and we have to get them out of here. A tornado that comes through, and it's a rodeo. In the first film, it's the drive-in theater. In this one, it's a rodeo, and so they have to go and take care of all that. So you have all these. It's just like beat for beat. Although they switch it up a little bit, and we'll talk more about that as we get on here. But they do switch it up a little bit as we get closer to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
They subvert your expectations. And subverting expectations is...
What we do.
Okay.
Then, like I mentioned earlier, we have the two rivalry teams,
Correct.
right? Now, you have not seen the first one.
Nope.
I will explain to you a little bit about how that movie works. You have, in the first one... And this is how you can tell it's been made. These movies were made in two different generations. Because in the first one, the scrappy group, the scrappy go-getters, who are in it for the science, they're the good guys.
Right.
And then the corporate,
the cowboys.
I'm talking about the first one.
Oh.
There were no cowboys in the first one.
Gotcha.
Then the corporate guys with the polos and the logos and the hats and and the big white vans and all the press surrounding them, they were the bad guys because they were in it for the money.
Right.
He's in it for the money, not the science.
Spoiler alert.
That is not how it happens in this one.
Spoiler. This is how you know this is a Gen Z era, because it subverts
Expectations.
Okay.
expectations again. It subverts expectations because the movie starts with her joining up with an old friend of hers, one of the only two survivors of the horrible tornado that took most of her friends. I shouldn't laugh at the beginning
Three
of the
of
movie.
Aww.
It was a sad moment. It really
It
was.
was sad.
There was a lot more death in this movie.
There's a lot of death.
There
in
was
this
a lot
movie.
of death, and in the first Twister movie, there was only two people that died, and all that whole movie, with all the tornadoes and everything that went through, there was only two people that you see
From
die.
what I can remember here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8.
At least 8 people died in this movie, and that's what's supposed to happen in a disaster movie.
Yeah.
But like I said, in the first one, you never saw that. There were 2 people that died. Again, that very close relative of Helen Hunt's character. I won't spoil that for you. And Carrie Elways, who was the bad guy in the first movie from The Princess Bride.
Robin Hood.
And Robin Hood Men in Tights. Carrie Elways doing his worst Southern impression I've ever heard in my life.
And inside, she holds hundreds of these little sensors.
And that's it. In this movie, all kinds of bystanders die. It was like
lot of
it was like
bystanders.
Jurassic Park when they come through San Diego or whatever. Or
All the tornadoes were the twisters were the dinosaurs.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was interesting. That was an interesting thing to see that a
Yeah.
lot of people died. A lot more people died in this one than the original. So I give it props for that. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah. So in the twist. The twist in this movie is that, so out of those group of friends that die at the beginning of the movie, the main character and this guy, this dude, bro, they are the only 2 left alive, and a few years later, he strikes up a company trying to continue what they started a few years earlier. And then...
Which, well, technically, he does start with good intentions.
He has good intentions to the very end.
He does.
Yeah.
But money, unfortunately, does play a part sometimes.
So
For
what
research and things.
What it is they go in and she joins up this corporate team. And the corporate team, they're like, we're just trying to make a difference. We're trying to make people's lives better. And then the rival team is this scrappy group of just redneck
Cowboys.
wackadoos who And this is what made the movie. I actually leaned over to you in the movie and said, "This movie infuriates me because
He did.
it was so stupid." I'm like, because the main guy in the competing group is Glenn Powell, who's been in a bunch of movies here in recent years. So I'm just like, okay, we're supposed to like this guy somehow. I really want to know how they're going to make me like this guy, because he's a douche bro. He's a dude bro, and all that he and his group do, they do YouTube videos of them shooting fireworks into tornadoes,
and
sitting in the middle of tornadoes.
People who do YouTube videos are total dude bros.
They are idiots. Anybody that does YouTube videos are idiots.
Gotcha there.
Please
anyway.
like and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell. You get the notifications. Anywho, no, and that's what they shoot fireworks, and they plant themselves in the middle of the tornado and shoot fireworks up in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, this is so stupid. But then there's a good subversion of expectations. Spoiler alert, as you find out the group that the main girl is a part of is actually
about the money.
The greedy company, and the good guys turned out to be more of the the scrappy
Those
people.
underdog heroes.
Mm-hmm. So it ended up working out the same way as the first movie, but they did it in the very what I like to say is the Gen Z way.
Gen Z?
Gen Z way, where they subverted your expectations and took the back door in, And I like that. I like that. Don't go there.
Okay.
Don't go there.
He likes a good back door.
Why I like to be nude.
But I like that. I like the twists of the movie. I liked it, the fact that they twisted it like that.
I would definitely agree with it. I mean, I will say I saw it coming.
Really? Well,
I did.
I guess because Glenn Powell is supposed to be one of the main stars of the movie, and you're like, well, wait a minute. Something's got to give here.
No, I mean, well, yes, but more so because, like, anytime you have all of that equipment that's really super fancy and there's money behind it. And he was talking about how he has investors, not grants, not anything like that, investors.
Yeah.
And anytime you hear the word investors, that has a tendency to spiral into more things that are not so good.
I guess so. You're right.
So, like, if he had said, because the whole point at the front was to get a grant.
Yeah.
Which would be through a school, which would be for research, which would be awesome. He never said grant. He said investors.
Yeah. And so, but that's what makes the movie interesting, is because they did make that big twist.
Yeah.
Other than that, and there wasn't a whole lot of, I'll give it props because there wasn't a whole lot of fan service. Other than Dorothy at the beginning of the movie, there was no real, like, main big, well, I said there's no big callbacks, but then you have the stupid, I'm not back, we got twins, and then just kind of the carbon copy, like, beat for beat of how it was done.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, they subvert, because they even have the relative angle. There's a scene in the movie where they go visit Helen Hunt's aunt in the first movie.
And they visit her mom in the second.
Visit her mom in the second. I was just scared to death that she was going to be in a tornado, because in the first, well, I'm not going to spoil. I'm spoiling things. She's never seen the movie.
I've never seen it.
But yeah, but like, so they do everything. They hit all the beats, but then they do a nice subversion and switch it around. But they still manage to squeeze in a theater.
They did.
They still managed to squeeze in a theater.
That's where
attack.
2 of the people died.
Yeah.
They got sucked right up.
Exactly. And instead of a drive-in, though, this time they did a regular movie theater where they all piled into to stay safe. It was actually, this is why I say it's a sequel.
Okay.
It's a sequel.
Okay.
Because in the first movie you just had one big epic tornado.
Or this could just be why they called it Twisters. Because there's 2 epic tornadoes.
Stop it!
No, that doesn't make any sense, because there was a bunch of tornadoes in the movie.
Right. But these were the 2 that were the most devastating.
No,
and
it's not about those 2 tornadoes.
And
It's not about those 2 tornadoes.
Fine.
No, go ahead with your thought. I'll listen.
And the 2 that risked the lives of somebody on one of those teams. Everybody else, all the other ones were just bystanders.
This is why I'd rather be watching Twister.
Blah, 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 blah.
So this is how you know that it was a sequel, because instead of one giant scene with a ton of people running away from the Twister like they did in the first movie, you had 2 big moments where everybody had, because this takes place in, both of these take place in little towns, and they have to run away from the the titty twister.
No.
And
Why are you the way that you are?
And just like the first one, they managed to finally successfully accomplish their experiments. Where the first one, they were just trying to find better ways to track tornadoes. This one was about
dispersing a tornado.
Stopping it, basically, dispersing it. Which, I don't want to get political here, but didn't Donald Trump say he wanted to put nuclear weapons into hurricanes to stop them? I'm pretty sure he said that at one point in this term.
Really?
I think so.
Because that would work so well.
I don't think it would go over very well at all, to be honest with you.
No, it would not.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
But I mean, other than that, it was a good movie. It was definitely a fun, it was a fun action film. It was a fun, disaster movie. I miss movies like that.
It's kind of a nice change from what we've been getting movie-wise, to be honest.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see a movie like this. I didn't even want to see Twisters, to be honest. You didn't want to see it. We kind of just got roped into it. And I'm still glad we went, to be honest with you.
I'm glad we went too.
I know the hat makes it seem like that I don't care and that I hated the movie. It's not true. I thought it was pretty good for what it was. Just my issues with it is I think they didn't really learn to do a new movie. They just kind of went beat for beat of the first film.
Yeah.
But then I did like the little subversions that they took and made it their own story. So it was interesting. I liked that. I liked that part. So yeah, I mean, overall I thought the movie was fun. It was exciting. What do you think?
I liked it probably a little bit more than you guys. Being my first Twister film.
I think you'll like the first one more. I'm really thinking you're gonna like the first one more.
I definitely think it's worth a watch. It's gotten a lot of great reviews from multiple people.
That's the crazy thing. It's gotten huge reviews right now.
Huge reviews. Normally on this channel it's kind of about debating whether something's worth your money going to see in theaters. I would say this would be. It's been a nice change up from the movies that we've been getting.
So, segueing into recommendations, sounds like you're recommending this movie.
Oh, I would. I think it's worth your time because it also wasn't ridiculously long.
It wasn't for an epic picture like that. It wasn't super long.
It was what we're used to, that hour 30.
No, what we're used to now is the two and a half hour movie.
What we're used to from when we were younger. What are you? I quit. Nope, I'm out.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
And I, too, Miss Pengrino, would recommend this movie. I really thought I wasn't going to be recommending it. I thought this was going to be a game off. Wait, that's the wrong show. No, actually, I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I did. It's not one of my all-time favorites. I think I've talked about this before, and you know this. If it's a movie that I absolutely love, I own the physical media of it. I don't think I'll be purchasing this or asking it for the holiday season or anything like that.
Probably not. But I feel like if it was on the TV, you would watch it again.
We'd watch it again because it was not a bad movie. And so yeah, the critics love it. I think the audiences are loving it. It's interesting. Oh, and speaking of subverting expectations, we didn't mention this. We wanted Helen Hunt to be the mother.
Yeah.
But that's a good subversion. They didn't go down that route,
They didn't. They didn't. But the question is, did they not think of it, or did they think it was not a good route to go?
I think there was. Somebody
had to think of it, right?
Somebody thought of it.
I know we're smart, but I don't think we're that smart.
No,
no one else thought about it.
Somebody thought of it. They just went, you know what?
Let's not.
That's too on the nose, and we're trying to separate these two movies.
I know, but it would have been on the nose that I think I would have appreciated.
Frankly, I was good with either one. If you wanted to connect it, and that be the connection as Helen Hunt being the mother, that would have been the way to go. Yeah. But they didn't, and I like that outward stretch that they did for it. So, way to go!
2 thumbs up.
Way to go, Universal.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't do that. That's copyright. That's not us.
Oh.
But way to go, Universal, Warner Brothers, and Amblin Entertainment. You guys did it again with Twisters up my butt now. Uh-oh, Miss Pengrino.
What?
Oh my gosh.
What?
We got sales moving in. It looks like, oh my god. This looks like the storm of the century. It's going to be the worst tornado they've ever seen. Okay. We got to get out of here. Come on, Miss Pengrino. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Come on.
Okay.
Oh no, here it comes. Ah!